Okay, let me try to make this bigger for you guys. So, what I kind of wanted to do was just go through some of your notes with you that I think are important. If you've been watching the videos, one of the things that I've tried to do is instead of just going through no after no after no, is one to try to make the videos a little bit more fun and to kind of break them down instead of being 10-15 minutes long at a time. If you watch one every day that's about 5 minutes or less, hopefully you get the point. So the main thing, I've already taught the brain, I've already put up stuff that I do think is important. If you've copied your notes, because I put them on the board for you, a lot of what's in here, listen, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't necessarily care that you just flat out memorize, okay? I tried to give you what I thought was super important in the videos I've posted. I do want you to know when we talk about your nervous system that it is separated into two parts. We have our central nervous system, which consists of just the brain and the spinal cord, and your peripheral nervous system, which is the sense organs, which we haven't really talked about yet, but pretty basic, okay? I don't really care much else. Obviously, a nerve impulse, what travels along the neurons, that would be important. Your brain weighs 3 pounds. I want you to know that it has three main parts that we talk about um, in terms of seventh grade life science, okay? And that would be the cerebrum, which is the largest portion, okay? Um, this is where you get the kind of thinking that is like the conscious thinking, right? Um, so like riding a bike, talking, different things like that. It also can store your memories, so the cerebrum would be very important for that. When we move on to our cerebellum, this is your second largest portion of the brain. This is a big deal because it monitors and controls body movements without you thinking, which, again, if you watch the video, I hope you guys are thankful for the parts of the brain that God has designed for you and everything that they do, because it is a big deal. You not having to tell your body to move, that your brain can do that for you, also helps to maintain that posture. And then your brainstem, okay, this is what controls the breathing, the heartbeat, blood pressure, coughing and sneezing, different things like that, okay? When we talk about the spinal cord, this goes along with your brain stem. Obviously, your spinal cord does travel down your back. What's important about this is that it does protect, it is protected at least by your vertebrae. I'm sorry, it doesn't protect your vertebrae, but your vertebrae does protect your spinal cord. You don't want to injure your spinal cord. That is a very painful, very, very painful type of injury. So definitely be thankful for the bones, the vertebrae that God has given you to protect that. You do have spinal nerves that branch off of the spinal cord, and these nerves go throughout the rest of your body. And you can read more about those cervical nerves, the thoracic nerves, lumbar nerves, those type of nerves throughout your body. Again, being thankful that God is a designer and He does miraculous things. Seriously, the way the human body is made is incredible. Reflexes. I did spend a whole video talking to you guys about reflexes, and for some reason, we still had some misconceptions when it came to answering that question on your guys' section review. When I post a video, please make sure that you are watching it. Take notes. If you don't understand, send me an email, guys. That's why I'm here. I'm here to help you. Hopefully, trying to do a live chat soon so that if you have questions, you can ask me, or send in your questions to me and I'll record videos of answering your questions, whatever it may be. But listen, you've got to pay attention just as if you're sitting in my class, and you guys know what it's like to sit in class, right? I am on you guys about making sure you are paying attention and trying not to be distracted. So when you're watching videos in science, for science or really anything, try not to be distracted because these videos are definitely intended to help you guys. When we talk about our reflexes, know that your reflex is that inborn, it's that immediate involuntary reaction to a stimulus, okay? That stimulus is what is happening right away. Okay, so whenever you react to, again, that video I sent you was Mr. Sickles getting shocked, or a hot stove, when you react right before that moment that happens, that is the stimulus. Okay, it's the change in the environment that is causing your body to react to something. Okay, and then your reflex arc kicks in, because this is what's causing your body to react, because your brain doesn't have enough time to respond to what just happened. So quick enough, at least. So your reflex arc will kick in. Your sensory neurons will kind of take over. They understood what happened in that stimulus. They get it. So it'll carry those impulses onto the spinal nerves, and where your inner neurons are working here as well, because that goes in between your sensory and your motor neurons. When this takes place, it's transferring all these all these impulses to your motor neurons, and your motor neurons, at the same time that this is taking place, your brain is finally understanding, hey, you need to react to this. So your motor neurons will produce that immediate movement. That movement is the reaction. I don't understand. Some of y'all are trying to put reaction as your very first option in what happens. No, that's the very last thing that happens once everything has taken place. Okay, that was pretty much it in terms of the control system for your brain and your spinal cord and reflexes. All of what I just said was basically just the main stuff that I needed you guys to understand. There really isn't much more than that, okay? So those are the main things. I hope you guys are studying and have really prepared for your quiz. I did enjoy reading your guys' answer to question number 7 on your review questions on the ethics section. Sports safety, a big, big deal. So let's move on to senses. Obviously, there are 5 main senses that we talk about a lot. Smell, taste, touch, sight, all of those things, okay? Those are big deals. But when I posted, I don't know if I'm posting this one before I post my other video, but in case I don't post the other one first, then now you guys will know that scientists actually think you have more than 5. We just talk about our main ones, okay? So, in talking about our main ones, I'm not super concerned. I put a lot in these notes, really just for you guys to learn. But in terms of where we're at in 7th grade, I want you to be able to look at an eye, be able to label it and the different things that we've talked about, and know what they are. Okay, obviously, some of these you guys I know are familiar with. Your iris. Your iris is the colored portion of your eye, and this is in the middle layer of the eye where nourishing takes place. I hope when you watch that video, you learned something brand new, that all eye colors are originated from basically brown, and that the less melanin somebody has, the lighter the eye color is. Mine are hazel, by the way, so I have some melanin, but just not as much as other people do. Then we have our pupil, and I know you guys already know what that is. Your pupil, which is the black part center in the eye of the iris, and this is the opening where light gets to enter the eye. Whatever size your pupil is totally dependent upon the muscles that are in the iris. So I don't know if you guys knew that or not. We have our lens, which is right back here. Light passes through the pupil and eventually will enter the lens. The light in here will bend, which causes it to focus on the retina, which is all the way back here. This is the inner layer, the back of the eye. And here's where receptors are very sensitive to light. Nerve impulses from the retina will go to the brain through the optic nerve, which is right here. You guys can see. So this is labeling this and understanding what it does. If you want to know, again, go back over, listen to the video again, or go back over on page 340. You guys should have already read it, but hopefully this is a big help in understanding how the eye is labeled. And then 341 does a great job again on explaining how it works. The light reflects off any object that passes through the cornea, which is right here. So basically, we are seeing that reflection, and as it reaches the pupil, your eye has to make very fast adjustments with reflexes. The way that light enters and we perceive things through the eye is pretty incredible. If you keep going, again, like I said, this is kind of a lot. I'm not too concerned that you know it. The physiology of the eye, what we just went through, yes, this would be important, okay? Especially knowing your rods and your cones. There are a ton of receptors in your eye, but the basic ones that I would like for you guys to know are the rods and the cones. And these are important because the rods are responsible for the vision that you have in the dim and very dim lighting, regardless of color. And when you look at something, when the light is very dim, it typically will appear black and white, versus when your cones that are sensitive to bright light causes colors to be seen very clearly in well lit places. The ear, just read over this section. You can find this on page 342. The different parts, the outer ear, the middle ear, the inner ear. I'm not too concerned that you label it, just knowing where things are, like the eardrum, which would be located in the middle part of the ear. The outer ear containing your ear canal and your eardrum, and the inner ear, your cochlea, and different canals that are important to you as well. And then obviously I would hope you guys know some of this stuff about your nose is what scents odors, your tongue just enables you to chew, swallow, have taste buds. Your tongue is really, really important, guys. Like, try to picture life without your tongue not being difficult to chew. You really could not speak. You couldn't taste things. It would be not a fun time. So this is basically just an overview of the rest of chapter 16 that I wanted to give you guys. If I were you, I would make sure you go ahead and put this stuff in your notes just to have something to study with, because you do have a quiz on Monday. So please make sure that you have done everything you need to prepare for that, okay? Please let me know if you have any questions.